Here we go, getting into it here. It's got problems. I got one ABS wheel speed sensor wire that I broke, which I do have those. I bought them a while back, but you can see this is what it takes to change out a little tiny wire that goes right here. Right here, this little thing right here, it's got this magnetic that it reads, a magnetic ring that it reads. Even though it looks like a mess, it'll still read. Now I've got two of them, but you see what you got to do to get it in there. Okay, it's more than I want to do, but it's going to be done now that I've took it down this far. Now this ain't too bad. I mean, it's got a lot of heavy scaling, but mind the camera work here. I'm trying to get you a little video. I got that whole new cradle. Like I said, I wish I could get some of my money back on this. This is wore out. The other side's the same way. I had to cut the link bars. That's something you always have to do. And then right here was the wire that got snicked. So, no big deal. I got these. But you just see what it takes to get it all in there. I was afraid I couldn't get this axle nut off. Man, this axle nut, whoa. I'll show it to you. It's a mess in here. But look at this. It was a whole 1/8 of an inch smaller. I'm gonna see if I can't get two nuts to put back on the axles. The axles are still good for now, so I might stick it back on there. I don't know. I really ain't trying to put a whole lot of money into it. I put enough into this thing. I just don't have it, let's be honest. And then you got to put something up the tailpipe of this thing. If it's got an exhaust leak, it throws a code. And then it got the muffler. The muffler's got a hole in it. Right there. I'm gonna try some JB Weld and put a little piece of metal over it and just kind of clean it all up. And it's extreme heat. It's made for manifolds, and that's what happens to these Jeeps. The manifold, they crack in the front before it gets to the oxygen sensor. So what does that mean? That means that it will throw a code, and you got to replace the manifold usually. But it broke off one bolt on this, so I got to pull the manifold off and drill it and tap it, or just drill it and weld some nuts to the back of it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's got to be done. And it probably needs a manifold. The code that it's throwing is a manifold code. It cracks. That cast iron, it cracks. Can't do nothing with it. Got to replace it. You got to unbolt the motor, drop the motor. It's a lot. And right here, this one's gone too. It's gone. So it needs those, the links, the bushings are gone in these. But to do this, man, it'd be a lot. You'd probably end up, might as well go ahead and change these brake lines out while you're here. You know, to keep, they're old. I mean, it's a 2008, so quite old. They're getting hard too, you know. You can feel them, they're getting hard. But I don't know what it would be to get this emergency brake cable out, but I got to put a backing plate on both sides, new wheel bearings. So, and then I got to drill this out. I'm gonna try to put a muffler patch on the muffler for now, and it needs a whole new exhaust. It needs a manifold all the way out. So, just to get the code to where it'll read the O2 sensors, it's got a cracked manifold probably. That's my thinking. And then hopefully the ABS will quit acting up. It might need an ABS control module. If that's the case, they're $800. A brand new one. But we're just going to work on what we need to make it go down the road for now. I mean, it's got a check engine light, but let's be honest. I would want my money back. A lot of it to do all that. And then, like I said, it's got problems with the TIPM. A new TIPM factory's $3 grand. So these new cars, even though, you know, it's a little bit older, you know, hey, it takes a lot of money to fix it when it goes down. You know, I need about $25,000 just to get some of these vehicles fixed to where I can actually drive them up and down the road. You know what I'm saying? Not counting, you know, I got kids and all that. I mean, they need stuff too. But it is what it is, I guess. I mean, I just don't see why they got to make it to where it's so much that it affects everything about the vehicle. You know what I mean? They got a all four wheels got to be in sync in order for the all-wheel drive, the traction control, and the ESP to work on this stuff. It's too much. I mean, I don't see why I don't make an aftermarket kit to where, you know, you can just bypass all the silliness. It's so old, it don't really matter no more. You know what I'm saying?